Pagan Shooter here. I'm here to show how to clean the High Point 995 TS. You will see there is nothing in the chamber and the magazine is out. So this is a fairly simple comparatively to the C9 and the other guns. You only really need one tool for this one. This is the tool that comes with the C9 and all the other handguns and the 995. And this is actually commonly used for the, well, not so common, but it's misunderstood to be the lock key. It is the lock key, but it also is the tool to break down these guns. You're supposed to be able to use this to break down the C9. Honestly, I don't think I would. But it's also supposed to be able to use this to adjust the sights on the guns too. And that's kind of why they give it to you. It's actually a pretty interesting tool. Let's go ahead and break this down though. So let's see. I'm going to try not to make this one as long as the others. First thing we're going to do is we're going to release the slide and pull the trigger so it is not on tension. That'll become important later. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use the tool to unscrew the charging handle. We are going to then go ahead and push in on this bolt here on the outside. And if I can get this in there, just turn it to unlock it. We'll see. This fits right in here. And once again, this gun is not loaded, so, and you can see I'm turning it just like that while pushing in on this bolt. It's spring loaded, so you can see it's kind of spring loaded there. So, and once again, we'll do that with the other side, the other one in the front, same thing, and that comes out. Next thing we're going to do, and yes, I know, you don't do that with your scope. I know. So you can use this once again to push this little clip off the bottom. Now, I have had this clip go flying, so be very cautious with that. And it can be kind of tight in there, so if you can, use your tool. And I'm probably going to send it flying again. I did, but I caught it. All right, and the last bit here is going to be, there is a piece right here that you got to flip up. And this tool will do that. So you stick the tool in the side, and you give it a twist, and a twist all the way back so it is like that right here, and you pull and slide this forward, it comes off, and because we've already pulled everything off of here, we're able to lift from the front and put that aside, and then this whole assembly, the barrel and firing mechanisms, comes out from back here. And trigger and everything. Oh. Come on. There we go. And we'll put the stock aside. So now we are left with this piece. Once again, you have a clip back here that holds it together, right here. And I'm just going to pull and slide this down. So for this, I'm just going to use this to protect my thumb. And you'll see I slid it down to there. So, and now this piece, oh, and then there's a retention ring up front here. You just pull that forward. Okay, so now if I didn't have the sight and the compensator, this would slide right off. And then this piece eventually would slide off as well. It doesn't have to, so it's no big deal. So now at this point, just like the 9.5 or C9, you have the doll's head type thing. So you then slide back and lift this piece off. Now, caution, this is under pressure. it is under spring tension and it will come shooting off, so be careful. So once you get that off, you have your spring, you have your doll's head back here, your firing pin springs, and then you've got your firing pin back here. And then here is your firing chamber and barrel. So how do we clean this? Well, it's pretty simple stuff. Just like the C9, you're going to go ahead and do some saturating here. A doll's head, your firing pin springs. That's what I would saturate. You have the upper piece here. Give it a little saturation down inside. So you can also get the barrel face, get in there. Alright, so now, because this piece here does not just come off, you've got these pieces. You could take these off and then remove this and clean it much better. It'd be a little easier to clean. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it on. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a patch through this. So to do this, I went ahead and combined my Otis sets. And I have the rifle pull with the 9mm patch holder. And then I'm just going to slide this down the barrel. Real gentle and easy. And, goodness. That flash suppressor is just not playing nice, is it? Compensator. So, Alright. So, because of the compensator, I'm having a little difficulty getting it out. So, that's a little lesson learned for me. The compensator will not allow it to push all the way through. So now, I'm going to have to just use a regular rod. That's alright. We could use that. So, I've got a rod right here. I always keep it handy just in case. And then we'll go ahead and just push it from this end, right up through the barrel, right back through, just like that. All we want to do is just saturate it. That's really all we're doing. And then we'll put that aside. And you can see it was a little bit dirty. This was firing my reloads. So, and I actually, with my reloads, I found they're actually kind of cleaner than some of the factory ones. So I'm a little bummed that I'm not going to be able to use or make them anymore because I'm living in an apartment and really not enough room for it. But that's all right. Once I get in a house, I'll be able to make them again. So let's see. We're going to go ahead and just clean the firing pin. And onto that. And now I'm going to clean down in here because there's the groove and the firing face. And along here. And any surfaces that appear to have anything on them. There we go. And that's just to break it up. We're not scrubbing, and I'm just doing a light cleaning on it. So, and you can see today I am filthy. So this is going to be an interesting day for me. All right, so now that the barrel has had some time to soak, let's go ahead and run a brush up the barrel. And once again, we have that suppressor, or the flash hider, compensator, as it were, on the tip of the barrel. So that kind of protects it a little bit. Not 100%, but it does kind of protect it a little. So, I mean, that is a little plus to having that. It really doesn't do much of anything else for this gun. There's nothing to compensate. 9mm carbines really don't have any kick to them at all. So it's just one of those things. It's more of an aesthetic thing than actually functional. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and push this together, and we're going to swab the barrel now. So once again, gently up the barrel from the breech face, and we'll just swab it through, and it's getting a little bit out of there. So we'll go ahead and swap that out. And put together another patch in there. And from the breech, straight up the barrel, back down. And now what we are doing is we are scrubbing it. We're using a soft cloth patch to scrub the barrel. This is not going to damage it. The fitting I'm using is a brass fitting, so it's not going to damage the barrel. It's definitely lighter on it than if you were using something, let's say steel or a hard metal. Aluminum would probably work pretty well on this too, but I don't know of anybody that makes an aluminum one. So let's see what that barrel looks like now. That barrel looks pretty clean. So let's go ahead and get a cloth and wipe down the rest. We've got a firing pin that we saturated pretty good. We've got some springs that we saturated pretty good. And a recoil spring assembly. The doll's head assembly. And we've got the firing pin face as well as the extractors. Those have been saturated pretty good. And we'll go ahead and clean up the back here. There we go. And we're just getting it all wiped down. So now what we're going to do is we need to oil it and reassemble. So I'm going to put this aside. So now for oiling, I'm going to do pretty much my standard oil. The firing pin, I don't like getting it really, really wet, but we want to make sure that it glides really easily. So we're putting the firing pin back in first. I gave it a light sheen of oil and then slid it in first. The dual springs you'll see here. I'm just going to insert the small spring into the large spring. See that? And then that assembly gets pushed back inside with the firing pin. And then you've got the doll's head. Now, there is two sides to the doll's head. The flat side goes out, faces out. The pin side faces in. So we'll go ahead and put that down inside. And then we're just going to gently, and we almost forgot the recoil spring. Not going to get too far without that. That slides up underneath. The pin piece sticks out the front. And you want to make sure that sits flush and the pin goes back in the back. So now you'll see here, I've got the clip that is not fully seated properly. We're going to push back and there we go. So now the pin is seated properly. So I'm going to go ahead and release tension on that. Make sure it's pushed all the way down. And then I am going to use the tool and push the pin so it retains that doll's head again. So now it looks just like that. All right, so now we need to reassemble the rest of the weapon. So we'll put the retentioner back in, or the retainer back in. We will grab the stock, slide it in like that. We will go ahead and put this clip back on the bottom. It seems like a good time to do it. So there we go. So now that's held in. And then we will take the upper piece here, and you see there is a metal tab down here on the base, on the bottom. That goes down inside the stock, and then it just rotates right in. And then this front piece, see how that clip is right there? That slides over the front here and then down in. So the front is even with each other here. And this piece flips forward right there. And then we will replace the pins. Now, I haven't seen any difference in these pins. They look identical to me, and I have tried them in both, and they seem to work in both. So I don't think it matters which one goes in which. And you'll see I am holding the pin here, and then I'm going to go ahead and rotate that back up. So now that front piece is held. I'm going to do the same with the back one. There. And I'm going to hold that pin in with this side, on that side, and rotate, you see right here, and rotate that back, locking it in place. I'm going to, last but not least, replace the charging handle and screw it in a little. And then, using the tool, just rotate and screw it in. There we go, just hand tight. And then we will charge it, pull the trigger, hold the trigger, charge, release, and fires. And last but not least, safety is engaged, will not activate, will not pull the trigger. So that is the Hi-Point 995 TS tactical stock. The breakdown and cleaning of this weapon is actually pretty easy. You need the single tool, which actually, if you had the front handle, would actually slide up inside and functions right back the way it was. Have any comments? Go ahead and leave them below. How do you clean yours? Go ahead and fill me in. Comment, like, subscribe, share, and see you next time.